We're ready to roll.
We rolling?
Yep.
Very good. Will the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission for Wednesday, July 15th, please come to order? For the benefit of all of us, as this is our, I think, 6th time hosting a virtual planning and zoning meeting, our procedures will be as follows. When you first enter the meeting, you'll be in the virtual waiting room until the meeting host admits you, which will take approximately 5 minutes prior to the posted start time of the meeting. 2, please be aware that your camera, if you have one, and your microphone will be muted by the meeting host when you enter the meeting. You can turn on your camera at any time so you can be seen by others when and if you choose to. In order to run an efficient and orderly meeting in this new virtual environment, unless stated otherwise by the meeting chairman during the meeting host will keep everyone other than the commission members muted. You will still be able to hear everything said by the commission members, even if you are muted and or your camera is not on. There will be the opportunity for public comment during the public hearing, at which time public participants will be unmuted. 3, the secretary will read the legal call of the meeting as published according to Governor Lamont's Executive Order 7B. 4, during the public hearing, the applicant will be invited to present the application, explaining to the commission and others present what is being requested. The meeting host will share all related documents and screen as needed. In addition, all applications and supporting materials for each application on the agenda are available through the public meeting calendar page of the town website, www.ci.guilford.ct.us, and also through a direct link on the planning and zoning page. 5, comments of town agencies will be read for each application if there are any. There will be clarifying questions from commissioners. 6, there will then be the opportunity for clarifying questions from the audience. Please raise your hand through the Zoom platform and wait to be called on and unmuted. Should this feature malfunction, please send a chat. We're actually not chatting, so I won't do that. Just raise your hand. I think we've been able to do that pretty successfully. 7, the applicant will then have the opportunity to address any questions or concerns raised by the public or commissioners. 8, once the public hearing is closed, the applicant is free to leave or remain for the balance of the public hearing and regular meeting, during which the commission will try to reach a decision on each application. Each applicant will be notified in writing as to the decision of the commission and has the right to appeal to Superior Court if desired. 9, decisions of this meeting are available a day after the meeting by calling the Planning and Zoning Commission at 203-453-8039 or emailing planning.zoning@ci.guilford.ct.us after 9 a.m. 10, all voting actions taken tonight by the commission will be on a roll call vote. All commissioners and staff will identify themselves for the recording before speaking. Seated this evening are the following: Richard Wallace, if you could raise your hand and say hello. Thank you. Jamie Stein.
Hello.
Hi. Matt Yerzinski.
Hello.
Frank DeAndrea.
Hello.
And I'm Phil Johnson. Staff present are, at the moment, Aaron Mannix, our zoning enforcement officer, Lisa Piombino, our planning and zoning administrative assistant, and I believe George Kroll will be joining us in a little while. George is the town planner. This meeting will be recorded via the Zoom platform and made available on the town website for viewing. The secretary will now read the legal notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing on the following applications on July 15th, 2020. Due to the COVID-19 situation, this meeting will be conducted through a web and phone meeting only. Attendees are advised to not go to the regular community center location because a physical meeting will not take place. See below sign and information to Zoom meeting. And there it is. Town of Guilford, Noble Bridge, Colonial Road, Coastal Area Management Application for a bridge reconstruction. Kalpesh Patel, Muya Burgers, 1919 Boston Post Road, Unit 210, Map 79, Lots 35, Zone Special Permit to revise the sign package by increasing size of sign and allowing an additional sign on the side of the building. Caroline Zeiss, 645 Durham Road, Map 85, Lot 35, 13, Zone R5, special permit request to build a 1,000 square foot hobby art studio. Susanna H. Vining, 23 Lovers Lane, map 40, lot 139B, zone R3, special permit to add an attached 830 square foot accessory apartment. The proposal included a 404 square foot detached 2-car garage, patio, and access path. 258 to 260 River Street, map 46, lot 48, zone PV R3. Coastal area management and site plan for modification of original approval for Salt Spot, including facade changes, parking lot, and stone wall. Dated at Guilford, Connecticut, this first day of July 2020, and posted on the Town of Guilford website, www.ci.guilford.ct.us, in accordance with Governor Lamont's Executive Order 7B. Phil Johnson, Chairman.
Great. Thank you very much, Matt. Quick first order of business is to, someone like to make a motion to revoke our August 5th, 2020 meeting cancellation and hold a meeting as regularly scheduled.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That was unanimous, so we don't need to do a roll call vote. Next, we've got 3 items that are tabled to August 5th. Town of Guilford, Noble Bridge, Kalpesh Patel, and Susanna H. Vining. Would someone like to make a motion to table those to the August 5th meeting?
Excuse me, Phil. 258, 260 River Street. I did receive a request from them today. They're seeking to be on the 8-5 agenda as well, as opposed to the 8-19. So you can add all 4 of these.
Okay, so that one is 258, 260 River Street. So we'll be tabling 4 items: Town of Guilford, Noble Bridge, Kalpesh Patel, and Susanna H. Vining, and 258, 260 River. So would someone like to make a motion to table those to the 5th?
So moved.
Second? Frank, will you second that?
Second.
Thank you, Frank. Richard Wallace, you in favor of that?
Yes.
Jamie Stein?
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea?
Yes.
Matt Yurzinski?
No.
Okay. And I will also vote to table that. We will see all those applications on the 5th. So the first item on our agenda, I believe, is Carolyn Zeiss, 645 Durham Road, map 85, lot 35-13, zone R5, special permit request to build 1,000 square foot hobby/art studio. Carolyn, are you with us? Oh, hold on, let's unmute Carolyn.
Yes.
Oh, good. If you could state your name and address for the record, that would be terrific.
I'm Caroline Zeiss at 645 Durham Road, Guilford, Connecticut.
Terrific.
Um,
Could you tell us a little about your project?
Yeah, so it is a fairly large studio. It's going to be 1 story. It's going to be a simple rectangle. It will not have a bathroom. It will have a sink. It has its own septic system that we already have a plan for. And it's the size it is to accommodate basically a print studio, a painting studio, a digital art studio, so a fairly comprehensive studio.
I can share your site plan on the screen for the commission if you'd like, Caroline.
Sure.
So then the commission can see your project here. This is the proposed workshop here.
Mhm.
And so this was essentially a double lot. Is that correct, Carol?
Correct. And we
Right.
joined the 2 lots last year.
And they were merged to accommodate the size of the septic system. So this, and it's 1,000 square feet roughly. 1-story building. The structure does comply with the maximum height requirements for a detached structure in an R5 zone.
Why is there no restroom included in the plan?
Why is there no restroom? Because I don't intend to live in it.
So the septic is really just for the sink?
Yeah.
Wow. Big septic for a sink. It's quite, Aaron, does it meet all of the requirements with respect to setbacks and
Yes.
coverage? Lot
Yes,
coverage?
yes, it does. As this is an oversized lot, so yes, it does. It's set quite back, quite a ways back from the front property line.
And I assume we've received copies of the notifications for all the neighbors?
So how did you choose to mail first class mail or post the sign? What was your method of notification, Carolyn?
We posted the sign.
Okay.
Do we have to do both?
During the executive orders, there is language that you can post a sign as well, and then you're not required to mail certified either. In fact, you could notify neighbors via email if you had all of their email addresses. That was part of Lamont's executive order.
Thank you.
Sure.
Um,
I think we have a floor plan.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Is anyone interested?
I am.
Let's see. I said that. Now let me make sure I can find it for you. Let's see.
Caroline, is it just for your own use, or do you actually teach, or will you have other people?
I expect to be sharing it with other artists.
Terrific. Just a question then, is there sufficient parking for all that? I know how many people
I
you
think
have
there's
at a time,
parking. If you look at the driveway, I would think there's parking for 4 or 5 cars at any one time.
Terrific. It's always easier to head those things off in advance and try to
Absolutely.
deal with them down the road.
This is, this is a personal use. We weren't,
Yes, it's not commercial.
right. So this is the basic layout. I think this is the electrical plan, but we don't, it's really an open studio, correct?
Yes.
So that's pretty much it, a rectangle. Not much as far as individual rooms. I have some framing, and I think we have an elevation drawing as well here, so I can not give everyone a headache.
Will you heat it also?
Yeah.
Terrific.
It's just, I don't have that elevation in front of me, but it is just a 1-story structure that does comply with height. I do have a memo from
Dennis?
our health director, correct?
I have that as well. I'll read that in if you'd like. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission from Dennis Johnson, Director of Health, July 14th. Zeiss Carolyn, 645 Durham Road. The applicant's proposed art studio will include bathroom facilities, which you just said it wouldn't. So, which will require wastewater disposal to a separate septic system. Soil testing conducted on the property revealed suitable soils on site for construction of a septic system to accommodate the applicant's sewage discharge. It is recommended that the applicant's proposed special permit to construct an art studio be approved with the following conditions. A septic system to serve the art studio building shall be installed prior to the final approval of the building. But you just indicated that you don't want to do a bathroom?
No bathroom.
So then in that case, I think we can just, I don't want to say disregard Dennis's memo, but if they're not going to do a bathroom, then we don't need a separate septic system. Agreed?
There is plumbing. There is still a sink in there. So you will have to have, yes, the septic is required for that.
Okay. Carolyn, were you aware of that?
Yes, so we have planned for a septic, and
Okay.
we're definitely going to put one in.
You just, again, kind of thinking about these things down the road, if you accommodate it to potentially handle a bathroom also, you could potentially, if a year or two from now you decided you wanted a bathroom, you'd save quite a bit of money by not having to either expand or whatever that might be with a septic system. So,
Yeah, so we have actually planned for that in case we do want to convert it. But what we've also done has planned to hook this house, the existing house, to the new septic system when this existing septic system fails, because we know it's 25, 30 years old.
Got it. That's good planning.
Yeah.
Terrific. Are there any clarifying questions from commissioners? No, Matt, Frank? Are there any questions from our audience members? I don't see any. Would anybody like to speak in favor of this application? Would anyone like to speak against it? I would like, it seems to check all the boxes for me. As you may know, Carolyn, we have a procedure where we require two meetings for a special permit, but we have the authority to waive those by a super majority vote of the Planning and Zoning Commission. So I'm comfortable with waiving the second public hearing on it, but I'd like to hear from the other commissioners. Richard?
So am I, Phil.
Okay. Jamie?
Fine with me.
Okay. Matt? Muted, Matt?
It's okay, yeah.
Thank you. And Frank?
Yeah, I'm good with it. Is there any confirmation that the sign was up? Any pictures of it?
It's up on June 29th.
No, we don't have a picture. It was up on June 29th, but what I can do is I've spoken to my neighbors about it, and I could give you email confirmation that I've spoken to them about it, if that would help.
Sure. If you want to forward that in to Aaron, just so we can have it for the file, that would be terrific.
Yeah.
Okay. So would someone like to make a motion to waive the second public hearing?
I'll make a motion to waive the second public hearing.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. I'll call the vote on waiving the second public hearing. Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea,
Yes.
Matt Yurzinski,
Yay.
and I am also a yes. So we will waive the second public hearing and make a decision about this. So what we will do then is, would someone like to make a motion to close? Do we have anything else to read in on this one?
No, there are no other staff reports.
Well,
Is the
Aaron, should we just close and then deal with this one?
Yes, this is the only public hearing, so deliberation would come after this anyways. Our next item is just a site plan approval.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to close? Thank you, Richard.
Make a motion to close.
Second.
Thank you. Richard Wallace,
Aye.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea,
Yes.
Matt Yurzinski,
Yay.
and I am also a yay. So there is a motion that has been in the package. Does someone like to read that in?
I'll grab that. Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a site plan application. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Voted that the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a special permit for Caroline Zeiss, 645 Durham Road, map 85, lots 35-13, to build a 1,000 square foot hobby art studio as shown on proposed plot plan, land of Caroline J. Zeiss and Heather K. Allure, dated March 15th, 2020 by Stonewall Boundaries LLC, and an application dated 6/19/20. The application is approved with the conditions specified by Dennis Johnson's letter. This application is approved based on a finding that it conforms with the zoning code. The special permit is effective on July 24th, 2020, and upon filing with the town clerk.
Thank you. Discussion.
Could I request that we also add a second condition of our standard erosion controls, that all sedimentation and erosion controls be installed and inspected by the zoning enforcement officer prior to any construction?
I think that's
I'll
wise to
second their
do.
conditions.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll do a quick roll call. Richard Wallace, you okay with that?
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea,
Yes.
Matt Yurzinski,
Yes.
and I am also in favor of that condition. So basically, Caroline, that's just silt fencing or hay bales to make sure there's no runoff while the construction's going on. And just give Erin a call and she'll run out and check it and make sure everything's up to snuff.
That's on the plan already, so we will intend to do that.
Great, thank you. So We have a motion, we have a second. I'll call the vote. All in favor, Richard Wallace.
Aye.
Jamie Stein?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
Thank you. Matt Yurzinski?
Yay.
Yay, and I will also vote yes. Have fun building your studio.
All right, thank you.
You
Thank
bet.
you.
Okay.
Next on the agenda is Rick Maynard, which I see he's signed on here. Rick, can you hear us?
Hey, Rick.
I'm here.
This is the earliest you've ever been up. Rick.
I know. I saw you had me at the end of the agenda. I thought, oh no, it's gonna be another long night.
You could stay for the zoning discussion. All right.
Okay, so thank you for letting us approach you on this. This is actually for the Guilford Youth Lacrosse Association, but because it's on town property, I'm kind of making the presentation for them. Basically, at Nut Plains Park, there's a concrete wall, which is it's called a hitting wall, you know, where they practice throwing the lacrosse ball against the wall. And next to that wall, they want to build or put a pre-built 10-foot by 12-foot shed to store some of their equipment. It's kind of necessary because, thank you, Aaron. It's necessary because right now they're storing their stuff in the barn behind Town Hall. And I think earlier you folks approved a similar shed at Calvin School for Soccer Fest, an Eagle Scout project, Michael Malatesta. For the same reason, their stuff is being stored in that barn behind Town Hall. And I think the town is wanting to use that for other purposes. So both groups are moving their equipment and materials out of there. So similarly, as you approved for the Soccer Fest at their shed at Calvin Lee, Lacrosse is wanting to build one at Nut Plains in that area that Aaron showed there. You really can't see it, really. I don't think you'd be able to see it even from the parking lot. That's, you see the jog there. I don't know if you showed, yeah, right there, Aaron. There's kind of a jog there. It wouldn't be visible from the parking lot. It's right against that wall, against the wood line. And again, it's small. It's 10-foot by 12-foot shed.
Is it prefab or are you going to stick build it?
The prefab, I believe, is what they're planning on, and they're going to put it on, a stone base.
I assume it's not going to have any windows.
I would think not. Yeah.
You don't want it to have windows next to the throwing wall.
Yeah. Right.
They won't be around for long. So do we have any?
I have some memos also. Let's see what we've got. I have one from Kevin.
Nut Plains Park, that's the motion. From Kevin McGee, site plan application, Town of Guilford Parks and Recreation, Nut Plains Park, Guilford, Connecticut, Assessors Map 86, Lot 63. The Town of Guilford is looking to install a 10 by 12 equipment shed for the Lacrosse Association. The proposed work is located within the Inland Wetlands Commission's regulated review area. Based upon the size of the shed and Inland Wetlands Commission agent approval was issued for the installation of the shed on July 13th, 2020. Good. So they're totally in favor of it. Is that the only memo we have on this?
Yes, I believe so.
And what is this? Just a site plan change, correct?
Just site plan approval, no public hearing.
Got it. Any questions from commissioners?
What type of equipment will be stored in the shed, like nets? And
I quite frankly, I'm not sure what they have in that barn behind Town Hall. I've really never been in there. It's nothing, it's not a Parks and Rec barn. It's small, 10 feet by 12 feet. I don't think the nets are going to go in there. The nets might, but not the goals. Sometimes the nets get taken off for the winter. Nets, I guess like maybe corner markers.
And the other, having coached lacrosse. So you'll get like corner markers. Each coach has a coaching bag, which includes special goalie equipment. Because especially at the younger ages, goalies tend to think they want to play goal for a while, and then they tend to decide they don't like getting hit so much. So a lot of kids play goal. And just, if you think of like maybe the corner cones, maybe some ball, it just depends whether they're just going to primarily use it to store stuff during the off season. Because most of the times when they give the coaches their bag, you just throw it in your car. You're not going to leave it in the shed because you could play a lot of different places.
Mhm.
So I suspect off season it'll be a lot more full than during the season.
Right.
Is the Lacrosse Association a part of the high school, or is this
No, it's independent, like Little League or youth football. It's a separate organization, their own board, president, vice president, and so on. But they obviously we work closely with all those youth associations. We provide the field space, we line the fields for them, take care of them. But all the equipment is theirs.
great? Thanks.
Any other questions from commissioners? I think it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's approved by Inland Wetlands. It's a very small building. I don't think it's going to impose on anybody. And if it did, they could potentially move it, but let's just approve it the way it is at this point. Would someone like to make a motion with respect to Nut Plains Park? How about you, Aaron? Would you like to make the motion?
Me?
Or Jamie would be better.
Happy to make a motion. So moved.
Okay.
Do you have it to read, or
I
do you
do.
want me to share it?
Proposed motion, Nut Plains Park, voted the Guilford Planning and Zoning Commission approve a site plan application for the town of Guilford, Nut Plains Park, map 86, lot 63, for the placement of a 10 by 12 shed as shown on the application dated 6/15/2020, prepared by Eric Reed, Guilford Youth Lacrosse Association. The application is approved with the following conditions, and I don't believe there are any unless there were any from McGee. I mean, I think the shed is so small, they're not going to require any, like,
No, I didn't require any erosion controls at the time of install for the wetlands
Okay.
permit.
got it. The application is approved based on a finding that it conforms with the zoning code. So
Second.
Jamie, thank you very much. Again, any discussion? I think it's pretty straightforward. I'll call the vote on this. Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea.
Aye.
Thank you, Matt Yarzinski.
Yay.
And I will also vote yes. So very good. Enjoy your shed. Quick update. I had heard through the grapevine that pickleball was potentially not going in Adams.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. Thank you for giving the opportunity. Thank you for, addressing it over a period of a couple of meetings. I know it took time. It turns out that when we had test pits dug there, about 4, 5, 6 feet down, there was a spongy layer of organic material. And Mike Ott, our engineer, he brought in a geotech engineer, Larry Marsick. He had some concerns about it. Then they brought in a structural engineer. The concern was the weight of the concrete, post-tension concrete that our proposed surface was going to be, over time could cause that spongy layer, even though it was down 4, 5, 6 feet, to possibly compress. The cords maybe would sink, there'd be an issue with them or become uneven in one way or another. The mitigation of that, there were some options, but it was going to be very expensive. Estimated cost for mitigation was like $100,000. For example, driving piles, big telephone poles down in there, or digging out all that soil, replacing it with other soil. And we for that, and we knew there were some concerns of some neighbors, and we heard that, and the Parks and Rec Commission approved actually looking at Bittner instead. And I told you, I think at our last meeting, I didn't see Bittner as a viable alternative because of the grading and kind of work that would have to possibly go up there. I thought maybe some blasting. But Mike Ott and I went up there, and Kevin McGee came with us one time, and we did some measuring, and we think that fairly easily we can put it just north of the tennis courts. We'll come back to you for that approval.
Terrific.
When that's done. But we think we can do it there, get 4 courts up there. It makes a lot of sense because we have 2 there already. It's going to turn out to be a better option, I think, again, because the kind of work we'd have to do to make it work at Adams would be very, very costly.
Well, as you know, I was very concerned about the potential impact. So, while I'm sorry that it ran into a roadblock, I'm happy you found a very good alternative.
And I did notify the neighbor. There were 3 neighbors who had expressed interest in this project. I emailed all of them to let them know that we were now looking at another place, and I think that at least one of them was pretty happy.
That's great. Thank you very much for all your hard work on that.
Okay.
Rick, will will the Park and Rec Commission be holding another meeting on?
Yeah, I think we have to do that.
Regarding Bittner, like a public meeting?
We'll need to set that up. I mean, I'd be surprised if there's any opposition there. There's no neighbors there.
Yeah.
But who knows? We've had opposition to things we never would have thought of before. So we
They
will.
can handle the skate park. They could handle.
Yeah, really.
Right. This would be very quiet compared to the skate park.
Yeah,
But yes, we'll do that. And then we'll come to you guys, I guess, probably your August 19th meeting probably. But just so you know, we are going to go forward though with the tennis court, demolish that. Still going to do that, replace the tennis court. Probably going to go with asphalt instead of the post-tension concrete. Because those tennis courts are sitting on the same ground that these pickleball courts would sit on. So asphalt evidently is a lot lighter than concrete. They've been there for 40 years. So we'll rip them up and just redo those.
Will you leave them in the same location and not expand the parking lot?
No, we talked about it. It kind of makes sense to expand the parking. I think we're talking about just moving 18 feet south. I think we'll probably still do that because if there are, I mean, there still will be pickleball there. People can still play pickleball as well as tennis on those courts. And if there are 16 people there, there's not that much parking for 16 cars. So I think the plan would be to go with what was approved with that, but we won't do the standalone pickleball courts there.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Why don't I just, we'll do the regular meeting pending applications and then we'll go from there. George, is that right? How's that sound?
Fine.
Okay, so pending applications are Mark Knapp, 94 Great Harbor Road, map 7, lot 7, RS1 zone, special permit and coastal area management to build a new home on a lot less than 10,000 square feet. We opened the public hearing on 6/17, motion to continue to 8/5.
I think we're going to need to another new change today. They requested an exception from the state health department and that was denied. So they're back in the redesign phase. So I would recommend tabling this to the 8/19 meeting in hopes that they'll be able to have a design for that meeting. At least we know we won't have to extend
Okay,
again
so,
on the 5th.
motion to continue to the 8/19 meeting. Would someone like to make that?
Moved.
Second.
Thank you very much. Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea,
Yay.
Matt Brzezinski,
Oh,
and I will vote yes. So motion carries. Second is Deborah and William Zimmerman, 1107 Westlake Ave, map 95, lot 42-3, zone R5, special permit for a 2-car garage over 750 square feet. Motion to reschedule public hearing for 8/5. Is that one to be on 8/5 also?
Yes, that one is, initially when the 8/5 meeting had been canceled, when it came in and was received, it was automatically scheduled for the 19th. However, now that the 8/5 meeting is available, there's enough time for notification and the applicant would request to be on that earlier August meeting.
Very good. I'll call the vote to reschedule to 8/5. Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea,
Yay.
Matt Brzezinski,
yay.
and I will vote yes also. Mr. Zimmerman, we will see you on the 5th.
Thank you.
Greg Monroe, 111 Whitfield Street, map 32, lot 102, zone R1, request zone boundary change. Motion set public hearing for 8/19/20. Zone, what is it? Just zone boundary change is what?
It's a zoning map amendment, a zone boundary to extend to, it's currently an R1 zone and the applicant is requesting to extend the zone boundary line of the C1 zone into this lot for multifamily development.
We will motion to set the public hearing date for 8/19/20. Someone like to make that?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you very much. Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea,
Aye.
Matt Brzezinski,
Yay.
and I will vote yes also. New applications, Town of Guilford, Nut Plains Park, lot map 86, lot 63. Site plan for, we already did that. What is it? Paganasset Holdings LLC, quote, Peddler's Ridge Road, map 73, lot 1, zone R8, 4-lot subdivision, receive and table to 8.5. Is that correct?
Correct.
Very good. We will receive and table to 8.5. Would someone like to make that motion? Jamie.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea,
Yes.
Matt Yurzinski,
Yay.
and I will vote yes also. Other commission business, update status of subdivision. That's what we're going to be doing next. Just hatched 112 State Street in coordination with the Chamber of Commerce are requesting permission to hold a sidewalk sale to erect a 20 by 20 tent on 8/6/20 to 8/9/30. 10 years, huh?
Very
Is that
durable.
around by-
That's a good typo. I'm not sure we should approve that one. I'm going to amend that. I'm going to amend that to 8/9/20, if that's okay with you. Okay. Anybody have a problem with Karen putting a tent up in the Just Hatch parking lot?
Happens every year, why not?
Right. And she's very good about it. There's lots of parking on the street. So I'll make a motion to approve granting her permission to do that. Richard Wallace?
Yes.
Second, sorry. Someone want to second that?
Second.
Thank you very much. Richard Wallace?
Yes.
Jamie Stein?
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea?
Yay.
Matt Yurzinski?
Yay.
And I will vote yes to allow her to have a tent. Just so we can go, I did review the minutes quickly, and they appear to be substantially correct. Would someone like to make a motion to approve our minutes from the 6/17/20 meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. We have a second. Richard Wallace,
Yes.
Jamie Stein,
Yes.
Frank DeAndrea,
Yes.
Matt Yurzinski.
And I abstain.
You certainly may, and I will vote yes. That's good. So now we can move on to George, I believe.
Hello, everybody. We wanted to give you a little bit of an update on our subdivision code and zoning code rewriting. As you know, we have Planometrics engaged, Glenn Chowder, who is doing yeoman's work relating to rewriting these codes. The subdivision code is substantially complete, the rewrite. We're awaiting some comments from some of the other staff on some items related to their particular area of interest, but the subdivision code update is pretty much complete. We've been working with Glenn via Zoom meetings over the last several months on the zoning code update. I would say, at least in terms of number of pages, we're at least halfway through. Maybe, and actually substantively, we're probably more than halfway through it. And so we're making really good progress. One of the things that we've sort of promised everyone as we initiated this project, or when we initiated this project, was that we'd be focused on editorial and format and language and consistency changes, and not be looking to make too many substantive changes with regard to land use policy or with regard to significant area or criteria in the zoning code. We're not holding to that 100%, because we are finding some things that are obviously flawed, or some places where there's some even inconsistencies between one section and another. So we are making, or at least in the draft form, we are making some minor substantive changes. These will all be highlighted very explicitly when we get to the point of presenting the final recommendations. One of the things, however, that we did want to touch base with you, at least briefly, in progress, is the relates to the commercial and business district scheme that we now have in our zoning code. And as has probably been remarked before, and as many of you have probably noticed, and Glenn Chalder in particular pointed this out, we have a multiplicity of zoning districts commercial business zoning districts, which in many cases are duplicative, in many cases are districts that are almost identical with other districts with a different name. And we wanted to, at Glenn's suggestion, consider reducing this list of zoning districts, consolidating it in order to make it easier to work with and eliminate some of the more obvious contradictions and duplications in what we have. So we've begun that process, and we wanted to touch base with you, at least in an overview kind of way right now, with what we're leaning towards recommending. And I think I emailed out to everybody a document, which I'd like to sort of go over briefly. It's a draft text dated June 26th, called Proposed Commercial Zone District Consolidations. And if you don't have that in front of you, it doesn't really make too much difference. I don't
Share it if you'd like.
Sure, that's a good idea. Thank you, Aaron. It's a way of sort of at least keeping track of what we're talking about. I wouldn't suggest that we try to, in a group setting like this, get into all the details of things that are allowed in each of the various districts and things that are not allowed. We still have to kind of fine tune that ourselves to make sure that we're not creating any anomalies or any nonconformities in particular, which would be one of our major concerns when we simplify this list. But just to give you an overview of what we're talking about, you can see on the sheet that's before you, we have something like, I didn't even count them up, but something like 20 or some odd different zone districts. And I'll go through them briefly just to highlight the kind of direction that we're moving in. Starting with the zone district, which we call the C1 zone, which is the business district around the Guilford Green. That's the only area of the town that's zoned C1, and it is a unique and special area. What we're hoping to do there is change the nomenclature a little bit, give it a little bit more descriptive name, such as renaming it the Guilford Green Business District or something similar, rather than the C1 zone. The C2 zone, there's only one area of Guilford that is zoned C2, and that's the area that includes the Yale Shoreline Hospital. For some reason, when we recreated all the new commercial zones on Route 1, the PV zone and the TS zones specifically, we left the C2 zone on the map in that area. It's really duplicative of the TS zone. So the proposal that we would like to consider now is to eliminate the C2 zone, rezone that land, the same land area as a TS zone. The C2M is a marine commercial district. We're not proposing any change there. The C4 zone, there's only one piece of property that's zoned C4 in Guilford right now, and that's the property that includes the J.J. Sullivan oil and gas depot on River Street. I think most of us think, and we've discussed this many times over the years, that if we were starting all over again in terms of zoning and land use, we wouldn't want to have a gas or oil depot supply at that location. And it would make more sense to zone that property something like PV, Post Road Village, which is what the adjacent commercial zoning is. But if we did that and we eliminated the C4 zone, we would make J.J. Sullivan a non-conforming use, which again, from a strictly zoning kind of technical point of view, would probably be desirable, but politically it might be unpalatable to propose that. it may be possible that, at least I've thought about this, and Glenn has not looked at this yet, nor has Aaron, but the idea of rezoning it PV, but somehow making some kind of special provision for J.J. Sullivan so that they don't feel like they're too adversely affected by this. But there would be a certain amount of logic to eliminating the C4 zone and rezoning that property PV. Another single site zone is the C4 West zone, which is the area where the former car dealerships are at exit 58.
Hey, George, do
Excuse
you
me,
want me
57.
to quickly screen share, just in case people don't have the map?
Sure, you can do it that way. I think most of you might have this text in front of you anyway. The only thing that that we're kind of suggesting for that zone is that you see the C4W where the arrow is right now, the cursor, renaming that zone something like a motor vehicle services district. The next proposed idea is to eliminate the CD zone. The CD zone is kind of a spot zone that's popped up in various places over the years. A couple of them around the green, at least one over on Route 1 West. It was a zone district that was created in order to allow commercial zoning expansion in sensitive areas that were where it was adjacent to existing commercial zones, such as around the green, where there are 2 CD zones. But the way the CD zone works, the procedures that are associated with it are very problematic. And what we're contemplating is eliminating the CD zone and rezoning all the properties that are currently zone CD in the adjacent, into their adjacent commercial zoning district. The, excuse me, the I zones, we were not proposing any changes in the 2 I zones, nor will we, excuse me, propose any change in the MR1 zone. We have 3 mixed-use conservation zones over on the west side of town. We would, so we're suggesting that they all be consolidated into a new mixed-use conservation zone. Consolidate all 3 of those zones into one. There's a difference in the residential zoning density in those 3 zones, which we would try to create. Yeah, we would try to create something that worked for all 3 of those zones. I think in one of the zones, the MUC1 zone, we still have the remnant of only senior housing allowed, and we would probably propose to eliminate that. The other changes, the MUOS and the PV zones, we would leave those alone. Excuse me. The 2 shopping center zones, SC and SCW, would be consolidated into one new shopping center zone under this scenario. So that briefly highlights what we're kind of what we're talking about doing.
Great. I think, I'll unshare. One of the things that would be helpful as we proceed down this road is to kind of look at a comparison of,
Right.
We don't want to be in a situation where we're taking things away from a commercial entity that they might otherwise have a right to do. So if we can somehow put together a comparison sheet saying, here's what they've got now, here's what we're proposing,
Right.
I think it would give us all a pretty good visual on the proposed changes.
Right. That would be the next step in this process. What we essentially really wanted to do tonight was make sure that you all were aware of what we were talking about doing here. If you had any thoughts about the basic idea of it.
I mean, personally, I think the more we can kind of I don't know how many district zones we have, but if we can consolidate, zones that are currently being used in a similar capacity, so they have similar rules and regulations, I think the consistency of doing that would be beneficial.
Right. That's really the idea.
Yeah, I think also if we could maybe just have a little understanding for the original intention. I'm looking at my zoning map here, of the naming. Like for me, transitional and service district is kind of a new one. I'm not sure what the original intention of that name was meant to convey. And then also a village district, what that is meant to convey also.
Yeah, I think that would go a long way towards making this all a little bit more rational if we came up with some better names. That's really all I wanted to do, was just sort of go over this with you.
Terrific.
Well, thematically, I think it's what Glenn said he was going to do, make it simplified,
Yeah.
less cumbersome,
Mhm.
and more understanding.
Yeah, the principles would be to make sure we don't create any nonconformities or any significant nonconformities.
Correct.
That's the major thing.
George, why, am I wrong, or is the new U-Haul facility, is that not in a commercial zone?
No, it's a commercial zone.
Where is that?
Yes.
Uh,
Look on the corner of Tanner Marsh.
Yeah?
I think it's all TS.
TSO.
But they occupy the property just to the right of Tanner Marsh as you make the left. But what is that, R5?
No.
You see what I mean?
If you no, share. Can you share the map again?
I
Yeah,
don't-
I'm sorry.
I don't-
So the area I'm saying is here. Shouldn't that be
No,
something?
on the other side of 95. So you have to
Oh, got it.
Yep,
Yeah.
south of the red.
This is like the old dairy farm.
That's the farm, right?
Got it. And then these are in the TS. Got it.
Yeah. So the post road is the single red line,
I
and
got it.
then the double is 95.
Terrific. Thank you for the clarification.
I do that a lot, actually. Looking at it's not just you.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, with no
If
further.
any of you have any particular interest in any, and one of the other things we wanted to enlist your help in is if you have any particular knowledge or interest in any sites or areas within these districts, to give us your thoughts about, look at the table of uses, look at the quantitative standards, if those appear to be relevant. If you have any thoughts about any of them, let us know, and we can make sure we are treating that appropriately. I think one of the variables that's significant with all of our commercial zones is that we allow multifamily residential development in those commercial zones, and the density varies from, I think, 8 units per acre there's in some of the zones, down to, I think, 4 units per acre in others. And in looking at it, at least in an overview sense, and Glenn had this view, there doesn't appear to be any logic or rationale for why it's 8 in one case, 6 units per acre in another, or 4 in another. So if you have an interest in that sort of thing, you might take a look at that also. That's the one big quantitative variable that changes from one district to another.
I would think that septic, in most cases, kind of limits how many units you can have.
Oh, for sure.
So,
As we know, with commercial zone, just about all those commercial zones, the density, especially since the density is measured on a total parcel size basis, units per acre. A good example is the Guilford Village West former Waldo Russo property, which is about 100 acres. It's zoned for 6 units per acre. The most density they could get there with the septic limitations there and pointed out was something like 110 or 115 units. So that's a good example of that issue, how we need to look at it.
Great. I'm comfortable moving forward with this, so
Okay, good, thank you.
keep us in the loop.
Oh, yeah.
And with no further business before the commission, would someone like to make a motion to adjourn? Come
So
on.
moved.
Thank you, Frank.
Second.
Thank you, Matt. We can do a simple show of hands. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Have a great night, folks. See you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao, Francesco.